put government on the role of their responsibility, it will not be very good of us as a non-profit organization, non-governmental organization, not to be compliant to the rule and regulation that have been laid down for us to observe. And the more we observe it, the more strength we acquire to stand and to talk and challenge some of the anomalies that is going around the governance either in our state or in our nation. So that's just my little view. Thank you, Ma.
All right, thank you very much for that view. So what compliance simply means is, policies, laws, rules, regulation, requirements, standards, and all. Compliance is the foundation of a well-functioning non-profit organization, and it ensures that non-profits operate legally and in a way that it's actually fulfilling their mission. So without compliance, organization will risk a whole lot of things. They will risk legal penalties, loss of funding, reputational damage, even sometimes dissolution. So it is very important for organization to comply with the rules, with the standard. So I'm going to be sharing why, because I usually get questions from nonprofit leaders, from business owners about annual returns. So I'm going to be sharing why you are paying annual returns. Most of you guys are registered with CAC. So, but I'm going to explain why you are paying to CAC, because I usually get questions like, my organization has not even received any donation this month. We've not even started any programs. So why am I going to make any payments to CAC? So the Companies and Allied Matters Act is the legal framework in Nigeria that outlines the regulation for the establishment, organization, and management of companies. So the act requires that if Mr. A is coming to Nigeria or Mr. A lives in Nigeria and wants to set up a business, the act requires that you have to register officially. So if the act is saying that, the rule is saying that you have to register officially, so they have to have another body that will enforce the rule. So that's why we have Corporate Affairs Commission. So the Corporate Affairs Commission is a government body in charge of business registration in Nigeria. So CAC and CAMA, Company and Allied Matters Act, they share a very close relationship. They are like brothers and sisters. So if the CAMA says this, CAC will implement it. So if the CAMA says you are paying so amount or annual returns after your organization is registered, CAC will implement it. So that's why you see that currently non-profit organizations are being delisted, or rather they made their status on the CAC portal to be inactive. So when you don't pay your annual returns to CAC, so what the annual returns is all about is that you are telling CAC that your organization is still in existence, you are still in business, and that's the reason why you are paying to CAC every year. And it's very important as a business, as an organization, to comply with this. About 2 weeks ago, a client called me and she said, I wanted to come and I need to see you. I said, what happened? She said, oh, she submitted organization's certificate for a visa application and she got denied. And the reason was that our organization is inactive on the CAC portal. Most people don't take it very serious. They just feel that, maybe the lawyer or the agent wants to collect money from me. They don't really take it serious. But now, even CAC themselves, they are taking it very serious. you need to comply. As a non-profit organization or somebody that owns a business in Nigeria, you need to comply with all these rules and regulations. So just for the benefit of some of us, I know that most of us are registered, you know, we already have our registration document, but we have different types of registration in Nigeria. And if you are trying to set up a business, it is important for you to get to know about all this type of registration before you finally pick. We have the sole proprietorship, which is a business name. So most time you want to set up maybe a small perfume business and you feel that, oh, I really don't have money to start setting up, going for limited liability company. Sole proprietorship is, owned and operated by just one person. Right now, the Companies Allied Matters Act has made provisions for partnership under sole proprietorship. So you can have a business name partnership whereby two people can own a business. So we have the private limited liability company, which is, it has a separate legal entity. So when we say something has a separate legal entity, it means that you as the director of that particular company, you can, if there's any issues with the company will be sued in its own name rather than you being sued in your own name. That is the main difference between the sole proprietorship and the private limited company, because the sole proprietorship, when you are being sued, you will be sued in your own personal name and not the name of the company. So then we have the public limited company. Public PLC is generally used for, most of our banks in Nigeria are PLC because they offer shares. Well, the features of a PLC is that they offer shares to the public, and as a PLC, you face more regulatory requirements, including like, making your financial statements public. So, or this is where I'm going to. Most of us, when we want to register our non-profit organization, most of us do not really have the mind of, okay, maybe along the line, we might want to start a business and put money into the objective of our organization. So most time, if I have clients who says, oh, this is my objective, like I want a situation whereby I want to be training women, and at the end of the day, we want to sell those products and use it to train more women. I would rather advise the person to go for a company limited by guarantee, because the futures of the company limited by guarantee is a non-profit structure where profits are reinvested into the objective of the company. So most time, this kind of CLG is for non-profit, but most people don't really know much about it. Rather, people go for incorporated trustees. So incorporated trustee is the common registration that we have in Nigeria, that most NGOs are currently registered, like non-profits. They are non-profit entity governed by a board of trustees, and it's just suitable for a non-profit organization that is desiring to have a legal recognition without corporate obligations, because the CLD has a corporate obligation, and the obligation is that you need to have a product. You are putting out the services out there, but the profits are not for the members. Because under the company limited by guarantee, members' liability is limited to specific amount. Unlike incorporated trustee, all the trustees, they have unlimited liability. But under the company limited by guarantee, there is only specific amount that will be stated that you as the guarantor will be making payments maybe after, or in case that the such company wants to wind up. But in such an event, I'm just giving you the difference between the company limited by guarantee, and incorporated trustee. So most of the companies your organizations that are registered as company limited by guarantee are often referred to as social enterprise. So this is one of the ways that most of us might get it a little bit wrong, because when you are presenting an application to an international organization, most people will be like, are they going to check? Will they verify? There are bodies in Nigeria currently that they work with international organizations, and what they do is to conduct due diligence on any documents you send to them. So even if you have a document and it's saying something else, and you're applying for something that is another thing, they can always find out for more explanation. So if you are telling your funder that you run a social enterprise and you are registered as the incorporated trustee, it is conflicting, because as an incorporated trustee, you're not supposed to make profits. You are not supposed to make profit. You are not supposed to sell any product whatsoever. So you have to just, you just have to work with what you have, donations, grants, just maybe individual donation. But under the CLG, you are free to run a business. So I hope I'm communicating. I hope I'm not talking to myself again. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you are.
Okay, great. All right. So I'm going to be moving into the key consideration for establishing an appropriate, legal structure for your nonprofit organization. What factors should we take into account when selecting the appropriate structure for our organization? It's important for us to look into this structuring and see that we have the right structuring. Like I said, concerning the CLG and the incorporated trustee, when the structures are in good place, it is much more easier to get the funding. It is much more easier to have a soft landing when you apply for any grants or whatsoever. And I'm going to be sharing with us a case study from the Nigerian Conservation Foundation. I know that most of us, we know Conservation Center at Lekki. Even if we don't know, we must have actually passed in front of it. I've been there once, but I know that some people go there frequently. So I'm going to be sharing, it is going to be our case study for today, actually, because when I read about the organization, I could actually, connect with what the founder was able to do within the time he was alive and all. So, and one of the strategies to consider when you're choosing the right legal structure for your organization is your purpose and mission must, it must align. I realize that most of us, we don't take our documentation very serious. So when you register the organization, let me just make an example for myself. Like, okay, so I'm registering an organization, and as I'm starting, I had the passion to start a non-profit organization. And one of my objectives was that every Saturday like this, I will be visiting Okubaba. I will give them 1 bag of rice. And I wrote it as part of my objective that we want to be feeding people in 36 states of Nigeria as part of my objective. And at the end of the day, things were not, sometimes you project that you want to have you want to be doing some certain things as a non-profit organization. You would have listed them, and they would have, key it into your constitution that this is what you want to be doing. But at the end of the day, it is not what you are doing. So if your purpose and mission is not aligned and you are submitting all those documents to your grant makers or something, there will be issues. So I'll give an example. When Jubu Charity, when we started, on our profile on the Facebook, it was added that we'll be going to orphanage homes, we'll be reaching out to orphans and all. So there was one platform I was trying to register on because it was a great platform then. And it was one of the platforms where we always see volunteers. It's called Giving Way. They've closed down right now. So they were working on our application. So we submitted all the documentation. And one of their rules, because it's an international organization, they usually send volunteers from abroad down to Africa. So, and it was part of their rules that they don't want to work with organizations that visit orphanage homes. So, and when we started, we were not visiting orphanage home. I just, when you start a non-profit organization, you feel like, oh, this objective, you can do it. This one, you can do it. You put everything together and it's there. So the guys they now reach out to me. They said, they vetted all our documents, but they are very concerned with our Facebook bio. Now the Facebook bio is reading that we visit orphanage homes. How am I going to justify that we don't visit orphanage? I was not like, we don't visit orphanage home. That this was just the projection when we first started. But right now, we don't do that. That we've actually streamlined our activities to just children in marginalized community. And that was how they approved us. So where I'm going to is that if you want to actually have, consider the right legal structure for your organization, you need to take into consideration a whole lot of things. And part of it is that if you feel that your the purpose, the mission has shifted from what is in the documentation, it is important that you work on those documentation. Apply for a post incorporation, talk to your lawyer or talk to an accredited agent of CSC. Apply for a post incorporation, edit those objectives, let it fit into what you are doing presently. So that when you apply for anything, or maybe you're submitting your documents for anything, they will see that the objective, the purpose, and the mission aligns. The Nigeria Conservation Center, when they started out in 1982, they were registered as a charitable organization in 1982. And they outlined 3 objectives. And the 3 objectives was to enlighten the public on conservation issue, to encourage and support conservation projects, to raise funds to carry out their activities. Right now, their vision and mission has changed. But those 3 objectives was carried out for good 8 years before they shifted, they adjusted all those objectives. So that's where I'm going to. So the next point is governance and accountability. So how many of us do we have a functioning board of trustees? If you have a functioning board of trustees, are they involved in fundraising? Can somebody unmute? You can unmute your mic, and if you have a functioning board of trustees, you can just say something and let us know how you've been involving them in fundraising. Do you feel they need to fundraise or not? Okay, so Eniola, you can share with us how do your your board of trustees, do they involve in fundraising? Are you there?
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. There's something. Hi.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, we have a functional board of trustees, and one of the things that they are involved with also is actually in the areas of financial support for what we do, for the work that we do. So I don't know if that's connected to fundraising, but they in terms of advisory council, they are very supportive, and then we also, how do I put that now? We also, like, from day to day, communicate the works, what we intend to do, our project or the workings that we are doing for the year. We normally have meetings also, with them, to actually be able to let them see into the works that we've done in the year and what our impact, has been, in the year. So yes, they are very involved with what we are doing.
Great, that's interesting. Like, how many are your board of trustees?
Right now we have about 5 of them.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
That's interesting, because most will I say most, well, for most of the non-profit organization I've come across, most of them don't have a functional board of trustees. So, like, I'm just going to make reference to Nigerian Conservation Foundation again. So when they got inaugurated in 1982, it was constituted by 5 trustees at first. And before the founder now thought of, like, okay, it would be nice to have more people on board. So he added 5 more members, making them to be 10. So, and immediately they came on board, one of the things he did was to divide them into 3 committees. So he had going back to the objective, it was just 3 objectives. So he divided them into 3 committees: the fundraising committee, the public awareness committee, the scientific committee, using the 3 objectives. And these are the people that was in charge of these 3 committees, the board of trustees. And one of the things he did at that point was that it clearly defined their roles and responsibility. I remember I was talking to a non-profit leader sometimes back. She needed the BVN and ID card of all our board of trustees. And one was giving her issues. She's a celebrity. We now reached out to her. We said, we needed your BVN. We needed your ID card. She said she's on set at Oka and that she cannot send any documents, that unless she comes to Oka all the way from Lagos because you want to collect a soft copy of document. So I was not telling her that it's not about packing people on your board of trustees, but if they don't even understand your purpose and your mission as a non-profit organization and what you stand for, how are they going to be able to give you their documents? So it's important for us to clearly always define the roles and responsibility of our board. It's not about having maybe the president's son as one of your board of trustees. If you have the president's son as one of your board of trustees and you guys don't have a proper or good relationship, you might not get the necessary connection that you're supposed to get from him. So, and also, it's also important because sometimes the banks will request for minutes, even funders will request for documented minutes. And it's very okay. I know all this, structure, it comes gradually. As the organization is growing, you look out for one structure that has not been there last year. This is one of the things we do at Dubu Charity. If I see that, this particular structure, we are lacking it already. What can we do about it? We try to work on it and see how we can, work on that particular structure. So, and one of the things Chief Edu, that's the founder of Nigerian Conservation Center, did was to, involve them in active engagement in fundraising. Most of us, maybe we are scared of saying that these are our board of trustees, they cannot be fundraising for us, but they are the ambassador. They are supposed to be responsible for overseeing the non-profit mission, the strategy, and the financial health. So if money is not coming in, how are you going to do it? So it's important for you to just go back to the drawing board and see if your board of trustees are just, warming the bench, or maybe they're not doing anything, or they are just there. You can always, come up with, have a group, talk to them and ask questions. Are they ready to be committed to your organization? So I don't want to take so much time on this. So the next point is to have, internal governance policy. Like I said, compliance is about policies. So it's very important for you to also have crucial documents required for nonprofit organization, just to create a solid structure. I have talked about the constitution. The constitution is very important. Don't just leave your constitution and say nobody will read it. That constitution you got from CAC. If you feel that your objectives are lacking some of what you are doing at the moment, there's a way to apply to CAC to edit them. So make sure you work on it. It's very important. Financial management policy. There are a lot of organizations that has financial management policy. I remember when one of my friend, a close friend who is a nonprofit leader, when she applied for a grant, and they had to visit her from Ghana also. Those organizations were in the US, but they have a representative in Ghana. And one of the things they were asking for is receipt, or your invoice, or everything you've been buying. They were asking for it. And I can just imagine if she did not have those invoices, all those papers. So it's very important. Every single paper is very important as a non-profit organization. Then fundraising and grants management policy. For people that have a good structure, maybe you have a management team, all this policy needs to be put in place. I also making reference to another non-profit leader who approached me about, I think, like 4 years ago. So they wanted to raise funds for a particular girl. So if you are into organizations that maybe you raise funds for people that are sick, it's very important to have this policy, because you cannot be raising funds for people and at the end of the day you don't have policies that is guiding you. So the lady approached me and she said they were raising funds for a particular girl. The girl had cancer, and they now realized that another popular organization on Instagram was raising funds for that particular girl. So I told them that, okay, let's have a fundraising agreement. So these agreements would be between you and that particular organization and the family of the girl, because there's always an instances of you having agreements and you raising funds for people that are sick, and at the end of the day, maybe at the end of the day, the person passes away or something, then the money will not become issues. So but let's just spread out all the roles, the responsibility of the other organization, your own organization, and the role of the family in this money that you are raising. And it got so good. We did, we drafted the agreement, all the parties signed, and it was fine. At the end of the day, the girl died, but there was no issues, no legal. They didn't go to court because everybody complied with what was in the agreement, and that was the reason why having a fundraising agreement at that point was very necessary. So assuming they didn't have that fundraising agreement, might have been something else that might have been seen by now. And also another policy you need to have, maybe is an handbook, volunteers handbook. It's very important, because this is one of the ways to show that your organization is, you are ready for volunteers. You cannot be managing volunteers and at the same time you don't have policies that are guiding them. So these are like rules and regulation of what a volunteer should do, or their expectations. January, February, what we did in my organization was to onboard volunteers. And we also have a legal advisor who was reading the volunteers handbook to them, that this is it. You don't come to outreaches and you feel that all the things we are giving out, we want to give you. So your expectation, that's it, just, so we've already it's very important to have all this policy with you. So I think Intanze talked about the monitoring and evaluation framework, which is the impact measurement. You need to know what exactly, when you go to communities, how do you want to measure your impact? Are you using a Google form? Are you using video? So you need to have a reporting style, which is very important. For big organizations and even small organizations, some have procurement policy. I was looking at the post of Action Aid about 2 days ago, and they were looking for procurement partners. So I know that like Action Aid, that is right, they have a procurement policy, because it's a big organization that procures a lot of goods here and there. And also, so if you work with children, it's important to have a safeguarding policy. In fact, international organization will ask you for this when you apply for grants, and it involves children. So you need to have a policy that is safeguarding your beneficiary at all times, because they are children. So yeah. All right. So financial and legal compliance. So most of us, like I said when I started the session, you need to maintain proper bookkeeping and accounting records, because these are ways to have a proper structure. Then you need to conduct annual independent audits. So if you want to file your audited financial statement, CAC will request for audited financial statements if you are filing annual returns to CAC. So every year, you need to audit your account. I remember that Mr. Michael said something about this, and these are part of ways of having a structure. So it's important for you to, look into all these things and have those documents. Keep them somewhere, so that, because there are sometimes, I also learned this from somebody that spoke to me 2 days ago. She just got a tax exemption certificate, and I'm like, please, why did you go and pay? And why did you go and work on the tax exemption certificate? She said that she's grants ready at the moment, that because she realized that some banks or some organizations in Nigeria, they've started asking for it. And if you don't have a tax exemption certificate, they won't work with you as a non-profit organization. So it's important for us to, to keep everything in track as a non-profit organization. So I'm going to be stopping here. I'm going to be recommending books for further reading. I read these books and I got to know about Nigerian Conservation Foundation. It's so interesting to see organizations in Nigeria that have survived generations. And once, readers are leaders, no matter how, we should keep learning. So another, definitely the odds, it has a whole lot of case study. I think the book was written in 2009, and I can see it on Leap Africa site. Just to download it, I think it's 1,500 now. So if you are really passionate about, having more knowledge concerning the non-profit space, I strongly recommend that you read the books. And these are things, you can also see other ways to, put your organization in that, and having the good structure. Reaching Millions with Impact is also written by the founder of Leap Africa. It has a whole lot of stories. It has a whole lot of case study. It's important for us to, to just keep learning. And this case study, I wish I have the soft copy. I would have shared with you, but I have the hard copy. I might scan it and send it to the classroom. Lord's Charity Foundation started out like every one of us. She graduated from Olabisi Onabanjo University, but our organization became a case study for them at Lagos Business School. I also got to know about her at Lagos Business School after I met her in 2018, but got to Lagos Business School in 2019. And we used our organization as a case study. So if you are looking into that, oh, I want to look for ways to switch from incorporated trustee, that's a nonprofit, to a social enterprise, I think you need to read about Lot's Charity Foundation. Lot's meets Love on the Streets Charity Foundation. And they started in Ajegunle. They remained in Ajegunle. And they named the particular community Dustbin Estate. And they've been working there since 2009. And, so it's important for us to keep learning. So thank you very much. If you have any question, you can unmute your mic and ask.
Thank you so much, Ma'am, for the wonderful presentation. Regarding to this task clearance for the organization, Ma, sometimes you don't ask that task clearance in our proposals. When you go to the task from us and request that task clearance, we request to give us that task clearance. And also when you go to the state revenue office to get it, they requested some money like 150,000 to give us task clearance certificate. How do you get this task clearance in our organization? Thank you so much.
Okay, so I just want you to know that tax clearance is different from annual returns filing with CAC. So for tax clearance, if they say you should pay 150, I think you should pay. You know why? Because somebody just paid 2.1 million naira 3 days ago. And she said, oh, I've gotten my tax exemption clearance. And why they calculated that money for her was because of penalties. CAC also do that most time. When you don't file your annual returns, yes. So they will have delayed payments. So normally we are supposed to renew our tax exemption certificate every year, like going to FRS to submit some documentation, your audited financial statements and all. So if they said they are going to do it for 150K for you, I think it's a good one. Because even me, when I wanted to do for charity, as at 4 or 5 years ago, that was the amount they called. I ran away. But right now, somebody is telling me that because she has registered for almost like 10 years or more than that, this is the amount she had to pay. So I think you should, Nigeria, our government at the moment, we just need to comply with some certain things. So, but if they are going to take that certain amount from you to get the tax clearance, I think once you make that payment, you will be able to regulate your renewal every year. All right, I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you, Ma.
All right.
Ms. Ma, can I
Yes,
ahead,
please
Ma?
go on. Yes, please.
Thank you so much, Ma. First and foremost, I'd like to appreciate you for dishing out from your well of experience and as a legal practitioner, trying to really, bring us to a page that will not be, demoralized in our work. Thank you so much for this. It's something, if we were to pay for, it will amount to a very huge money. Thank you so much once again. Yes, I actually have some issue with the governing council. There are some board of trustees that started with my organization in 2014. And as we speak now, they are no more available because they are no more in Ife, and I base in Ife. One of them is presently in Ondo State in Futa. And each time I ask for his presence in the meeting, he will tell me he cannot come. And from the onset, his body disposition has been giving me a lot of concern. And till this moment, I have it discussed with my board member, the remaining part board member, and I told them planning to change him. And to change him is more or less like I want to get another certificate from CAC. So I'm so confused. The last time I was with the Global Right, in their compliance, they are trying to let us know that we can actually do it without asking for, getting a new certificate. That what it entails is that 2 or 3 members of the board will sign a particular document online, and with that, I will be able to change that board member. So my question is actually how to change old member to new member, or or increase the number of my board member. Then another question I have is the issue of this applying or renew tax exemption. I actually have team from Federal Inland Revenue. I have team which is tax identification number. Please, is it the same thing, or we have to use that to get the tax, the renewed tax exemption certificate? I'm a little bit confused about this renewed tax exemption certificate. I wouldn't know if it is the same thing as that of the tax identification number. Already, I have that from the Federal Inland Revenue. Thank you so much, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Yeah, so for the Board of Trustees, you can remove them, but you have to apply to CAC. We have to apply to CAC. It's a post-incorporation application. And removal of board of a trustee is going to be published in the newspaper.
Yes.
You're going to submit minutes of meeting to CAC, and it has to be effected. So if you're removing a trustee, there's no way CAC will generate a new certificate for you, because on the certificate, there's always the name of the trustees on the certificate. So you cannot keep using the old certificates when the name of the trustee has been removed. And for the tax, you need to visit the tax office, because they are the only ones that can really explain this tax issue. The thing is quite different. So what you're supposed to do because there are some, it's not just getting the thing. When maybe you registered, or maybe after a little while that you registered, you just got the thing, usually they might go and register you as a business name or limited. So we have an office in Lagos before that is dedicated for NGOs. Because I remember when I got my thing for my organization, they directed me to the office at Agidingbi, because they were the ones in charge of SIN numbers for NGOs. So it's important for you to check with them and see what the status of your organization is concerning the SIN number, and how you can apply for a tax exemption certificate. Right.
Thank you, ma'am.
So, Barrister Folakemi, can I just quickly say something? If I can add something.
I had my hands on since so it's all right.
No, I'm not asking a question. I want to contribute to what he just said. I'm not asking.
Please go ahead.
Okay. So what I wanted to contribute to is the scenario you gave when you mentioned somebody not giving her BVN as part of the board members exactly happened to me. And one of the members was refusing to give her BVN when we wanted to do the bank, wanted to get our bank account statement, and eventually without her, we couldn't open, without the proper number of couldn't open. So I had to go and, to CAC to remove her from the board members. And as Mr. Isaac is saying, you pay just as if you are renewing, you're starting up afresh. However, I want to encourage that if that person is going to be a clog in the wheel of your organization, just close your eyes and do what you have to do, so that at the time when key information is required of your board members and this person is not responding, that person will not now affect the moving forward of your organization. So you have to, I don't know of any other ways, because you were mentioning something about a way that it could be done. I don't know of any other ways, because I, as a lawyer, do not know. The person who also helped me at Abuja to do it did it. That is the way. I don't know of any other way. You have to go to CAC. You have to change it properly and you have to pay the required fee. As Barrister Folakemi said, there will be publications all over again and all of that process. The only thing I can advise is that if you are going to do it, then every other thing you have to do for your documentation at once. Like she was mentioning, your objectives, your constitution, and all everything you have to change, just do it at once so that the process will just be a one-off process. And if perchance you want to replace the person with somebody else, for example, your board members are maybe like 2, you're using from 3 to 2 or something, and you want to add somebody, it's just best that you do everything at once. And then for the tax clearance and the team, I know that there are 2 different things. One of the things that happened in my organization was that we did not start doing what is it called now? The financial, what was that thing called now?
Audited financial statement.
Yes, we didn't start at the very beginning. So like Barrister Folakemi said, these things are processes. As you grow, you find out what you need to change and what you need to do. That person paid millions, like she said, because of the backdating. But if you go to an auditor or somebody who can guide you, sometimes they help you register your organization on the FIRS platform, but they do not register it from the date at which you started, so that you will not have to be paying all of those. So they can help you start up from the moment at which you are doing your, maybe like for this year now, if you have financial statements for last year, you can give to them. They will help you do the one of last year. At least you have 1 year already, and you don't have to pay any
fee.
Yes, for it. So it's just a gradual start. At least before you know 2025 is over, you have another one for the next year. You have 2 before you have 3. So just start from where you are. Don't be afraid of the amount of money that will be called, and just do what you have to. But that was the way it was done for us, that we didn't have to incur so much
debt.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Eniola.
All right. Thank you for this power-packed session. It's really a lot, sincerely, because I wish we had the session before my CAC got approved. Remember when I had to reach out to you when I got the grant, and then we were like, social enterprise, the way it was registered instead of limited by guarantee and all that. So this is really a lot of learnings to take away with it. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Oh, okay. So I was going to ask about the Board of Trustees too, but I think somebody had already asked and it has been answered. So I wanted to confirm, what is the difference between our advisory board and board of directors? And can your members of BOT be part of your advisory board? Thank you. Hello, did you get that? Hello?
Hello. We cannot get Barrister Folakemi again.
Exactly. I thought I was the only one.
It's like maybe.
Madam Fola, if you're speaking, I think you're on mute.
Yes. It's like she on mute. Yes. She needs to mute.
She already asked for permission for 1 minute before she went muted.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay. Madam Lechi. Barrister Yeshi.
Sorry, please. Let me just yeah, please, can you repeat the question?
Great. Okay.
Eniola.
Wow.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I was asking that what is the major difference between advisory board and board of trustees? And can members of board of trustees be a part of your advisory board? Did you copy that?
Yes, I did. So your advisory board, these are people that are not they are not on the board of trustees. Trustees they are more like co-founders.
Yes.
So these are people that could say, okay, they can give you advice informally. You know, you can go to them, talk about what is happening in your organization. So they offer more flexibility, like an informal structure compared to your trustees. Your trustees are majorly, you know, they are registered, their names are on the certificate. They are being seen as the co-founder of the organization. But the advisory board, they are the ones that, you know, they are experienced individuals, but, you know, they will be there, like how you come to me now. You understand? You know, I'm not part of your trustees, but I could actually offer advice. I could actually talk, we could actually talk about different things. So the board of advisory is just quite different from the board of trustee. And having your, I think, you know, there will be a lot of conflicts. So it's actually better for your trustees to just be your trustees. Then if you want to identify your advisory board, it's okay to identify some other people.
Yeah. All right, thank you, ma'am.
All right, so it's 2 o'clock. Let me have my Oga Pata Pata.
Hello.
Hello, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Folakemi, for all the enlightening.
All right.
As regards to board of trustees, I was trying to carry my board along, but they were just not forthcoming. So, and I can be very impatient at times. So, got to a stage, I just let them go. They are on the certificates, but I'm not really
relating with them,
getting across to them any longer. Even though my younger sister was the chairman of my board, but I can tell you that she has not contributed a dime to what I do. So I just leave everybody to their own, and I run all by myself. Now my question is on the area of all the policies. I'm guilty as charged because I don't have most of these policies. So what I want to find out, is there a place, probably online, where you can get a template for most of these policies? For the safeguarding policy, I did a training about 2 days ago, and they sent us a template. I've not had the time to look through it. But for the other policies, is there a way to get the template online? Or how do we go about putting all these policies in place?
Yeah, I think, yes, I think there are so many templates online, like volunteers handbook right now. You can even download from other organizations and just put them together. Yes, for we lawyers, sure. You can put them together because you just, you know, compare, look at what they are doing in their organization. But I know there are lots of templates out there that one can use. And also, we need to work on your board of trustees that are not functioning. You need to remove them from the certificate, because if you want to apply and they're not functioning, it's a whole lot. All right. So,
thank you. I
please, ma, you have to
appreciate that.
the safeguarding policy that you got, so that maybe when you check it, so that we can also benefit from it. All right, Bukola, so let's have you, Bukola. After Bukola, then we'll call it a day.
Okay, good afternoon, ma'am. Thank you
Good
very
afternoon. Yeah.
much.
You're breaking. We can't hear you.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so yes, I wanted to, because I'm not actually involved in like the registration part. So for a non-profit, you register with SAFE, then are you not going to see any just the state?
I didn't hear that. What did you say? Can you type it in the chat box?
I was asking about the registration.
Okay, please kindly type it in the chat box. Yes, you can get the slides. I would we'll upload it on the classroom. So I think Buki is no longer on the call. So I think we can call it a day. Thank you all for joining us. Today is our last class, and
Yes.
we are so happy to have you all as our first cohort. It's been a great journey. I've also learned so much from all our facilitators, from the mentors, and it's really a wonderful time to spend together. And 17th of April, I want to say everybody will be hosting you guys. And
Are we coming on 17 or 16?
17th.
Okay.
17th is a Thursday.
Okay.
Well,
Barrister, we just want to say thank you. Thank you to you. Thank you to Program Director Anu, and for everything you've put together for this. On behalf of my organization and myself, I want to say thank you to you, because I've been to so many cohorts and I learned a lot in a modern and local way. And I want to say that I'm so grateful for this opportunity and privilege. Thank you so much.
Right, you're welcome. And we really appreciate everyone. Thank you for taking out your time. It wasn't easy to have everybody coming online, spend so much on data. So we really appreciate you. And we look forward to seeing you on April 17th. It's going to be a day of celebration, connecting with one another. Thank you, and God bless you. Have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you, FK. Thank you, everyone.
All
Really
right.
great.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Anu, thank you. My group, thank you. Bye-bye.
Group B members, please report yourself to WhatsApp group. Thank you. God bless you. Anu, I'll meet you. Bye.
Thank you.